What's up, Warport family? It's your boy C-Dub here. You are watching the Auburn and Missouri pre-game show. I am joined by none other than Dylan Lark of the College Loop and Ike Jones, who is joining us from Jordan Hare. Gentlemen, it's week 8, seventh game of the season. Must win game for Auburn, an important game for Auburn. Dylan joining us here. How you feeling, man? What are your thoughts before we get to the chat? What are your thoughts going into this, man? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm anxious. I think that's a emotion shared with the masses of Auburn fans. A game where I think if, as you said, a must win. If it's not a win, I don't see Hugh Freeze making it through the weekend still as Auburn's football coach. I think you have to win this game to prove that you can, in fact, win football games. But you have to show something different offensively, and you have to be willing to pull the trigger to make a change. If Jackson Arnold's still making the same old mistakes, you got to show you're willing to make a change there. And he's preached about how confident he is in Ashton Daniels, but yeah, definitely anxious going into this one.
Ike, you've been having conversations all week, doing shows. Just kind of what's the feel? What are your thoughts pre-game? Obviously, you want to see Auburn pull out a dub. What does Auburn have to do, in your opinion? This is you're playing a team that likes to play ball control as well. They have the SEC's leading rusher and Ahmad Hardy, 782 yards on the season so far. Again, what does Auburn have to do in this game, not only on offense but defensively against Mizzou?
Yeah, I mean, it starts defensively. You've got to be able to stop the run. Hardy is a dynamic guy. He's going to break tackles. You just saw him last year, but he didn't have the complement of players around him like he is this year when he was in this stadium with ULM. You've got to reproduce what you did last year versus him. Bottle him up and make that offense turn into a one-dimensional team that has to throw the ball and make sure that you keep the spy there on the quarterback. But offensively is what it's going to come down to. At this point in the season, I don't feel as if this defense is going to lay an egg. And, hopefully I didn't just jinx them right then. But offensively, you've got to be able to put up points, man. Like you're not going to win this game scoring 10, 13, 16 points. You've got to be able to score in, I think, the high 20s to get out of here with a dub today. And you've got to play 4 quarters of football on offense.
Yeah, Dylan, what do you expect to see in terms of, again, Auburn has not been dynamic in throwing the football. Auburn is down a running back or a team captain in Damari, Alston, who is no longer with the team. Your thoughts about his contribution? Obviously, Jim Cobb became RB1 when Damari went out with an injury, but Damari was by far the best in pass pro in terms of being a guy out there in obvious passing situations. What do you like to see Auburn do in terms of how they attack Mizzou today?
Well, I really liked what I saw out of that first half out of them versus Georgia. I want to see 4 quarters, and I expect to see a little bit of the same, a little more reliance on the run game, let Cobb cook and also let a little bit of Omar Mabson. I want to see a more confident Jackson Arnold. That's something Coach Freeze has been talking about, this team must-win mode, and confidence has been like the big picture item through the offseason, talking about Arnold's confidence. And I'm hoping backs against the wall, wounded animal mode, I'm hoping to see a more confident Jackson Arnold. But again, I've watched this team score 37 points across 3 games, which is less points than they scored against Baylor. And I just don't know if I'm going to see anything different just because I've not been proven that something different can be produced on the field.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play today. I agree with you, Ike. Auburn has to come out and the floor can't be as low as it's been. Auburn has to come out and look competent offensively. It's about time for that to show. Auburn needs a win. We talked about Hugh Freeze coaching for his job. This is a must-win game. I said in my show that I do with Mike G on Mondays last week, I talked about the fact that you can lose to Georgia if the offense looks better. Now I don't think fans care about the offense looking better. They just want wins at this point. And I think at this point, if you're going to show that you can win at least 7 games, obviously people had the floor at 8 for a few Freeze's job to be safe. You have to win this game tonight. We will definitely see how Auburn looks. We're going to get to some of you guys in terms of the chat and see what you guys have to say. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. This show is about you guys tonight. Exclusive TV joining us saying, scared for what's going to happen, but war damn. I think you echoed Dylan's and a lot of people's sentiments. We're not sure what we're going to get tonight, but we will definitely be here to talk about it. That is for sure. Thank you for being here with us, Exclusive TV. Otis Smith, thank you for being here, sir. He says, remember, fam, Game 7. Look at it as 0-0. The script flips here tonight. We get the W, and this team rolls for the next 4 games, and then comes the Iron Bowl. I like the optimism, Oda. I like the optimism. Appreciate you being here. I do want to hear your thoughts on this. I know the stadium, the PA announcer is talking a lot, but I want to get your thoughts here because I asked you about this before we went live. Rigger Spoon says, I'm here in Section 10. It's pretty docile. Just kind of what you perceived. I was on mute you. What do you perceive is kind of the mood, and is it a lot of how's it there? How's it during here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not out there where I can see the crowd anymore, but before I walked back here and got set up, it seemed like there were just not a lot of people out there. The energy wasn't there yet, and that's not typical for a night game in Jordan-Hare. People are still, like, even if it's a night game, they're usually in their seats about an hour before, and you can feel the energy in the stadium. Hopefully that's changed since I walked over here, but right now it's feeling, I think everybody is feeling kind of like, man, I don't know, so they probably will trickle in because we still have quite a bit of time before the game, but the energy has not really started to get there yet.
And to me, that is concerning, Dylan, because what happens as soon as Auburn gets punched in the mouth or there's adversity that hits? Usually the team relies on the crowd to keep them in it. But if the crowd is already, as Riggerspoon says, pretty docile today, it's pretty quiet, that's concerning. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's also some concerning thoughts. I mean, I was looking over here at the comments, too. There's a couple of other comments that have been that you probably bring up that kind of bring some worry to the crowd. If Auburn wants to continue to have these sellouts and this fan base behind them, they got to start putting it together on the field. I mean, the Auburn fan base stands at the top of a lot of fan bases. We are a loyal fan base. We we fill out every game across multiple sports, and if we're putting all this work in and all of our money in to come watch Auburn play, we want to watch Auburn at least play well enough to earn having these sellout games. Auburn has not had a performance that was willing of a sellout performance this season, or I can firmly say it's been since really A&M last year, which even then that game was gross going to 4 overtimes. It's worrisome to see kind of the fans kind of lose interest this early into the season because it feels like a numbing sensation at this point.
Yeah. Hopefully the Auburn gives the fans something to cheer about and be excited about in this game. Dwayne with the 199 Super Chat says, I'm cautiously optimistic. Come on, Tigers. A lot of people in media are predicting Auburn to win. And I'll give my thoughts on that, but I think a lot of it is you hope that Auburn can get this win more than anything. You don't want to see Auburn in year 3 under Hugh Freeze begin SEC play 0-4. That's just not a good sign. That's just a terrible thing. So I think that we've seen Auburn play well in these games. We've seen them be in these games to win. They can win this game. But the question is not can they, but will they? Will they do what they need to do to pull out a dub here? Doing stuff with Daddy says, not watching the game. I'm over it, but torn about Freeze. Love the man as a person, great recruiter, but let's say we get the usual tonight. Can we really fire him with so many big programs looking? Thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't know what other programs looking have to do with what Auburn needs to do for themselves. If a coach is there that you want to go get and the guy you have isn't doing it, then you got to go get him, right? Like, and if it's a bidding war, then so be it. But right now for Auburn, it's about just winning the game tonight and not worrying about what coaching searches look like. You win, and you don't have to have that conversation. So just keep winning.
Right. Rigger Spoon says scoreboard introduced Hugh and the booze came out. Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. Dwayne with the 199. Appreciate you, Rigger Spoon. Well, Dwayne with the 199 says hopefully team has impacted in. I think this game is going to be really important for them. I think this game is really going to be important for these kids. I think, again, this is why I say it's a must win, because it's going to be very difficult to keep this team or hold this team together if you drop a fourth straight game in conference. Dylan, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you got to win this game. It's and not only just for the fans, for Hugh Freeze to keep his job, but also you got to keep the confidence up on this team. I mean, you look at Cam Coleman, you look at Eric Singleton, a lot of these talented guys on the defense. I can name the entire defensive roster for this point. Yeah. The transfer portal is such a crazy thing nowadays. If a player loses confidence in the team, he's out, just gone. So if you don't start racking up wins, Auburn's looking to have a very, very bad offseason in terms of getting poached by other teams around the league.
Yeah, winning usually solves that. So Tony Baker says Blabo Sweeney goes down again. Who did Clemson play today?
SMU.
Ouch. I kind of enjoying that, but ouch for him. Oda Smith says if we lose tonight, James Franklin gets a call tomorrow. Interesting.
I'm not sure if he's a great.
Here, I mean, I don't. Never mind. I don't want to have the who's the next coach conversation until the current coach isn't here anymore. But I have thoughts on that.
Yeah. I need a half. I need a half before I start talking about who's the next coach at Auburn, or at least or 4 quarters. If that's even necessary. But I get the fan sentiment. People have been talking about who's going to be Auburn's next coach for a few weeks now. So we'll see what happens in this game. James McAlpine says, I was at the game last week and the energy never really peaked. Even Tiger Walk was a little dull, which is unfortunate for Georgia. Rigger Spoon comes back again and says, this is my son's first game, so oh my gosh. We need this. We need, because again, this is an important game for the son. Says I'm praying for a win. My first game back here since UT in 2008. Not a good omen if you remember it. Yeah, I do remember that, Rigger Spoon. So hopefully it's it's a different outcome than when it was when you were last here. Hope you enjoy the game, and thanks for commenting, sir. Margot Ashbury says, I heard booze at Tiger Walk. Yikes. TK says Jackson Arnold's leash is short. Can we talk about this real quick, guys? I think I was watching I think Ike and Deuce was doing a show, and I think someone had made mention that Hugh Freeze talked about potentially playing the backup QB in Ashton Daniels, possibly. Obviously, we've seen Jackson Arnold in a passing game has left a lot to be desired. But what brings that about? Auburn goes down a few scores. Jackson Arnold's getting it. Like, what do you think? What do you think it will take for Hugh Freeze to make that call to go in a different direction? I'll start with you, Ike.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about how stagnant the offense is, whether they are moving the ball, scoring, if, he has another fumble in a crucial moment type of thing. If there's plays there to be made and Jackson Arnold's not making those plays, then I think you have to go in a different direction at quarterback. Because, again, you can't afford for your offense to be stuck in the mud for what would be a fourth consecutive game.
And I also think that this is kind of tricky, especially if you're playing a team that wants to play keep away in Missouri, which means you're going to have to really pick up on that rather quickly, because it's not like you're getting you're going to get a lot of opportunities to get the ball and move the ball against Mizzou. So, Dylan, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine last week, and we were talking about Jackson Arnold and not throwing interceptions. And one thing I mentioned to him was, I think those overthrown missed touchdowns, those missed home run passes are just as bad as interceptions. They just don't show up on the stat sheet like an interception does. I think another game where those plays aren't being made, overthrowing or underthrowing Cam Coleman or Eric Singleton, especially that one pass versus Georgia where Eric Singleton was just wide open. If the ball got to him, he would have either got like a 60-yard gain or it would have been a touchdown. So I think that if there's a continuation of incapability of making plays happen, you got to go to the next guy. You got to go to make a change happen. So at least you seem as if you're trying to change the outlook of your offense. And I think Ashton Daniels last year at Stanford made a lot of those plays. One against Colorado on Travis Hunter, that is, as well. The Heisman winner. He made plays against Travis Hunter. So, I mean, if things aren't working out and he's not making plays, I mean, the interceptions at this point I don't really think matter to it. I think it's just missing the plays. And if he misses a couple of those, you got to go to the next guy on the roster.
Yeah, we will definitely see. I mean, again, I'm hoping for Jackson Arnold to bounce back and have a strong game. But again, I think it was very concerning in the second half against Georgia where he was missing receivers, not even having any pressure on him at times. And so, again, I think getting him settled into the game and being able to get the ball to the playmaker so that it can make plays is going to be very important in a game like this. Again, I don't expect Auburn to have a lot of possessions. The over and under is, I think, 43.5, I think. So they're predicting, somewhere in the 20s, low scoring, whatnot. So Auburn's going to have to make the most of its opportunities in this game. And so Jackson Arnold cannot afford to miss wide open receivers, right? If a receiver gets behind the defense, you got to hit them. So that's going to be very important. Dwayne with the 199 says Vanderbilt has a better record than a lot of teams in the SEC. They have been doing really well. I mean, again, a huge victory today against LSU. That game is looking a lot more and more worrisome as the weeks progress. So again, congrats to them. All right, guys. Dylan, have you given a score? I don't know. Have you had a show this week? Have you given your score or prediction about this game?
I have. I picked Missouri to win 24-21, and I'm still kind of confident in that right now. Unless something changes, I might change it at halftime. But yeah, 24-21 Missouri, low scoring affair. Just half a point over the over under.
Ike, your thoughts on this game?
Just win, man. I don't care. Just win. I don't care if they only score 3 points and pitch a shutout. Win the game, bro.
I want to see Auburn win as well. I don't think they will. I think they'll score more than 10 in this game, but I'm giving them 14 to 20 Mizzou in this.
Give me a 3-2 game.
3-2 game. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong about that, but again, I'm waiting for Auburn to take a game from a good SEC opponent. Again, that starts tonight, and I think that they can begin to change the script, change the narrative about about that starting tonight. And I want them to go out and play hard. I want them to play with a chip on their shoulder, from the coaching staff down to the players, and we'll see what happens from there. Let's see here. Dwayne says, we win in this. Enough negativity. I'm with it. Chris with the super chat says, I want Daniels to start. He's definitely not starting. And if he does get in there, that means things aren't going well. So I hope for things to go well. But if not, and he has to come in, I hope he's able to create the necessary spark for this offense. I just want the offense to have a spark. I want Auburn to win. I want the offense to score points. I want Auburn to give the defense a rest. I want them to be well rested throughout the game. I want them to win time of possession. I want them to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. I want this offense to look like what we thought it was going to look like in year 3 under Hugh Freeze starting tonight. Let's see here. Do I see any other comments here? Any closing thoughts, guys? Because we can go ahead and end a little early. I think kickoff is about another 10 minutes, 10, 14 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to kick it off at 5 till.
5 till. Okay. Any other closing thoughts, gentlemen, before we let out here?
Nah, man. Like I said, at this point in time, it's I don't care about style points. I want another notch in the column on the left side of that dash. Yeah. Win the game, move on the next week, figure out how to win another game on the road versus Arkansas. Like that's all that matters to me.
Dylan, thoughts?
Win the game. Simple and easy. Don't put a performance out there where you're going to have the whole crowd booing you when you go into the tunnel.
I'm hoping for a good game from Jeremiah Cobb, and I do want to see Jackson Arnold do well in this game. I think he needs this from a confidence boosting standpoint. And again, I'm ready for Auburn to turn the page and flip the script in terms of the narrative about them offensively. It's time for them to start being productive. All right. Well, we will be here for the Green Name game. You can check us out at the halftime show. I will definitely be here. Dylan, you'll be here, right? You'll be around.
Yep.
We'll be here to talk the first half and what we saw. We'll definitely want to hear your thoughts then. Guys, enjoy the first half of this game. For those of you who are not Green Name game, if you choose not to become Green Name game, we will see you at the post game. We will hear your thoughts at that point. Enjoy the first half, guys. War Eagle.
War Eagle.